Good morning, everybody. Most of us are in a rat race, but you may have heard the saying that even if you win the rat race, you're still a rat. See, what is our life for most of us? We're eating, sleeping, working, partying. There are joys and sorrows, there are successes and failures in life. It's just a perpetual cycle. But what is the purpose of life and how to find it? This fundamental question is the topic of the session. I'm Jujar Singh, and I'd like to thank Sangeeta Singh and the Positivity Project for inviting me to moderate the session. Our guest is one of the greatest living masters of Vedanta, which is the core of Hindu philosophy. Swami Advayananda ji heads the Chinmaya International Foundation, which is the research wing of Chinmaya Mission. He's also trustee of Chinmaya University. I've personally known him for many years. He's an absolutely adorable person. He teaches the philosophy of Vedanta in an absolutely methodical, meticulous, and logical way. He's authored many books, including a fantastic ready reference on the Bhagavad Gita. He's also done a path-breaking English translation of Adi Shankaracharya's commentaries on the Brahma Sutras with a detailed exposition carrying footnotes from 10 sub-commentaries. Swami Advayananda ji was inspired into the spiritual life by the great sage of the 20th century, Swami Chinmayananda. Hari Om Swamiji, thank you very much for joining us in this session. I believe Swamiji will be speaking for about 30 minutes, and then I'll have a few questions for you. Swamiji.
Thank you. My loving regards to all of you present here, and my special appreciations to the organizing team for selecting such a beautiful topic. Why I say such a beautiful topic is that when we talk of purpose of life, finding the purpose of life, there can be nothing more important than that. Animals live for pleasure. Man, a human being, lives for purpose. Purpose makes all the difference for a human being. I remember that in a discussion about what makes the most important value for a human being in life, then when it was discussed, then the point came out that whether it is sorrow or joy, none of them have any meaning whatsoever if there is no purpose. We all know parents go through so much of trouble to raise their children, give them good education, get them to a good state of living. So much of trouble. But because there is a purpose, all the trouble, all the difficulties they face in their task, they find it worthwhile. Now, it's not only the parents, you see students also when they study, it's not easy, they work very hard. The proverbial midnight oil they burn, as they say. But everything has got meaning because they say this studies what I'm doing is for a purpose. Any difficulty you may face in life, it becomes meaningful if it has got a purpose. Purpose makes any suffering tolerable. If you take the life histories of all our great freedom fighters of this nation and around the world, they went through enormous difficulties, is it not? And even as they went through those difficulties, they still had a smile. Why? because it was meant for a greater purpose. All sufferings, all difficulties, all tribulations, everything is fine as long as you have a purpose. Purpose is very sacrosanct. Not only difficulties, take even happiness, joy. That which has no purpose becomes meaningless. Even happiness. I know of a case of a family, well-to-do family, very happy, joyous family, all is well, all is fine. Their two sons, 21, 23, their two sons, good in their studies, about to, finish their studies and get into their jobs and all those things, work. Everything fine. All is well. But these two boys, 21 and 23, in the prime of their life, prime of their young age, the whole future is in front of them. But they committed suicide. And the parents, when they came and then explained that, Swamiji, this has happened, what to do? And, see, there's no sorrow worse than the loss of one's own children. How do you console them? Then when I was just asking them, how things, why, all is well in their family. I know them quite well. They said, Swamiji, only one note, Swamiji, was there. I don't find purpose in life. For youngsters, as far as when they say about the statistics, they say for youngsters the suicide, the maximum percentage is because they don't find purpose. What I mean to say is that whether it is happiness or whether it is sorrow, if there is a purpose, then both of them become meaningful. And therefore, this topic of finding the purpose in one's life is so important. As I said right at the beginning, animals live for pleasure. Man lives for a purpose. Now, we are all here deliberating upon this important topic, and therefore, that each one of us ask ourselves, what is the purpose? Now let us ask this question, what is the purpose of my life? When we say, what is the purpose of life? Let's ask this question for ourselves. What is the purpose of my life? Think about it. Do you think that there is any purpose? Or do you think it is purposeless? Because there is definitely a school of thought which says that there is no purpose at all. It is just an accident. There are school of thinkers who think like that. In our ancient Indian philosophy, you have this, the philosophers who are called Charvakas. And their philosophy goes like this, Rindam kritva gritam pibet. Bhasmi bhutasya dehasya punaragamanam kutaha. It's a very, very interesting kind of philosophy. They say, Rindam kritva, as many deaths as possible, it doesn't matter. But live a life of happiness. Gritam pibet. Gritam is ghee. Drink ghee, meaning what? Let your life be so luxurious, so filled with pleasure, that it doesn't matter. Why? Vasmi bhutasya dehasya punaragamanam kutaha. This body which is going to die, and when it is going to become ashes, how does it matter? Everything is rendered meaningless. There is a philosophy like that also. This philosophy is called the Asura philosophy. Asura philosophy, the philosophy of the Ravana, the philosophy of a Hitler. It matters not what happens around. I should be happy. Do you think really that is the nature of happiness? That you can be happy regardless of what happens to your own near and dear, what happens to all others around you? That cannot be the true philosophy of fulfillment, of meaningfulness, and of greater purpose in life. We all know such people who have lived those such kind of lives. How we detest even their memories. Whereas people who have gone through their lives, regardless of the difficulties they faced and the sufferings they went through, by what they created for the world around, we know those good people, a Buddha, a Mahatma Gandhi, saints who have adorned this world, we always remember them with gratitude. It is not that they had no suffering or problem or trouble, but the way they lived created meaning for themselves and meaning for the whole world. And therefore, my dear friends, let's ask this question. What is the purpose of my life? I do not belong to that category which says it doesn't matter what happens to the world around or to my own near and dear ones. I don't care. I will live a life for my own selfish sake. We don't belong to that category. We belong to a category which is more refined in mind, a little more noble in thinking. And today we are all assembled to find out what is the purpose of my life. I have studied a text called, an ancient Tamil text called Tirukkural. In the text, you find a beautiful couplet which says, Indra Purudin Periduvakkum Tan Maganai Sandrodenakk Ketta Thai. It's my mother tongue Tamil. It says, the mother who, so many months of, waiting and also, managing the times, as she's carrying the child in her womb, and when that child comes out, the mother is so happy. Yes, the mother is so happy, but the sage Thiruvalluvar says, Indra Purudin, more than that time when she's happy seeing that baby, when she hears from others that this son, this daughter is a sandron. The sandron means what? Is a wise person. When she hears from others such glory about her child, the mother's delight then is far higher than the delight what she had when she saw that baby. Now with respect to the father, that is a mother. With respect to the father, Thiruvalluvar says very nicely, Tandai Magarku Aatrum Nandri Avayattu Mundiruppat Chayal. So the greatest thing what a father can do for his child is to make that child the best among the assembly of people. Now, why I'm saying these verses are, there is something which is there in us which needs to express as we go through our life. There is something inherent in us. There is something hidden in us which needs to come to full expression, which needs to come to a glorious blossoming if there is going to be fulfillment, not only for us, but for those who love us. Is something there hidden within us? Is something lying in potential form which has to express, which has to dynamically, proactively come out in order that we have become fulfilled? Is such a thing there? The Upanishads say, tam vidya karmani samanvarabhete purva prajnacha. They say that each one of us are born, and when we are born, we come with us within us is a certain potential, which they say vidya, knowledge, karma, action, and purva prajna. Purva prajna means what? A certain potential of growth and unfoldment. These three things are hidden within every baby, which is every child which is born. Vidya, knowledge. Karma, action. And purva prajna. Purva prajna, a wisdom which has come, which waits for further growth. These three things come with us. And therefore, when we speak about unfoldment, when we speak about potential, when we speak about expressing ourselves, each one of us in our different stages of life, it's not that every child which is born has got the same amount of knowledge, same amount of capacity for action, and the same amount of ability to unfold. We all come at different stages of growth, of potential. Regardless of that, these three, what is there in us, if they come to our full potential, to the total blossoming, then we will find that we have lived a fulfilled life. Now, what is that knowledge within us? What is that capacity of action within us? What is that ability to unfold which is lying within us? What is that? How to find that out? When these things happen, the purpose of our life, each one of us personal life, the purpose of our personal life in the field of action, in the field of relationships, will be fulfilled. But how do you find that out? A discovery of this nature is not possible by just mere thinking or by just doing. A discovery of this nature to express the full potential in us also has got one factor in it, which is called time. What do you mean by time? Yes, the capacity of knowledge is there, which needs to come into full expression. The capacity of action is there, which needs to come to full blossoming. And the capacity to unfold is there within us, which also needs to come to full expression and full perfection. But all these things are going to take not only knowledge and action, but it is also going to take its time. What I mean by time is that it is as we grow through life, these three things are going to happen. So when do we discover this ability? When do we find this? All these things have happened. If all these things happen, then the purpose of our life, the meaningfulness in our life is accomplished. When is this going to happen? Not today, my dear friends. Not tomorrow, my dear friends. Not even in a month or a year. This is going to happen. Because our life till the last moment is meant to fulfill all these three: knowledge, action, and unfoldment. So till your last moment, you are on action mode. The purpose of your life, the meaning in your life is not accomplished till then. So what is my purpose? What is the meaning in my life? How do I discover? There is only one way to discover, is to live your life to fullness. What is the purpose of my life? I cannot say the purpose of my life is this and close it. Yes, this is the purpose of my life. You will not know what is the purpose of your life. Keep living. That's the only way. But remember, keep living not mechanically. Keep living with full energy, with full awareness, and with full openness. So with this, as we grow through life, the purpose of our life becomes evident. Nobody discovers the purpose of life just by thinking. Life has got thinking and action and time. These three together reveals together the purpose of our life. Now, but Swamiji, yes, that is true. As you say, we have to keep our life. We move with our life and we discover the purpose of our life. Probably, as we live through the life, the purpose is fulfilled. Agreed. But Swamiji, can I have an inkling about the purpose of my life? Yes, it is possible. You can have an inkling. Because there is something within you which will tell you which direction to take. And therefore, finding the direction is very important. Swamiji, how do we find the direction? Please do a mental exercise. Okay? What kind of mental exercise? You please think that you are going to a funeral. Okay? The only difference is that funeral or condolence, let us say, you are going for a condolence, let us say that way. You are going for a condolence. But the only difference is that you are going for your condolence. Your condolence. Not somebody has died and their condolence. Let us imagine as a mental exercise that you are going to listen. You are going for a condolence and their people are going to speak about you. Now, what do you say people speaking about you? Let us say somebody from your close family. Right? All of us are going to die one day. It is nothing unusual. It is going to happen. So you have somebody from your close family, from your family circle. Then you have somebody from your, let's say, workplace where you have worked. Somebody is going to speak about you. Then you have somebody, let us say, your friend circle. So your family, then your workplace, then your friends, and somebody from your to the community, somebody with the community where you are engaged with. So you have 4 people, right? So your family, your workplace, somebody, your friend circle, someone, and then the community where you serve, where you are associated with an organization, a community organization. Now, these 4 people, this is something you need to do. Sit quietly when nobody disturbs you and try to prepare what they are going to speak. This is a very, very unique exercise. You have to do for yourself. This is not something which I can do or somebody can do for you. Find a quiet time and try to prepare what they are saying. And as you prepare, you will get an idea, what is it that you will accomplish in your life. You get a general idea about it. You get a framework about it. Very interestingly, you will find it may not be something which is related to very, very small things which are occupying your mind today. How much money and this and that. It may not be those kind of things. But once you make it, you will get an idea where you want to grow, how you want to evolve, what is the unfoldment you are seeking, all those things will come to your mental radar. You will be able to see. So, what is the purpose? There is an inherent purpose. How do you discover? Knowledge, action, and time are going to reveal. Have you found out today? You can have an inkling about it. But each one of us definitely have something which time is going to tell. You cannot just know what is the purpose of life by thinking about it. What is the meaning of your life by thinking about it? Go through this way and you will have to discover for yourself. This is a self-discovery. And you'll find it is unique to each one. It is not that it is all going to be the same. It may be to some extent here and there may be togetherness, there may be similarity, but this is something which we will have to find out for ourselves. Now, so far we have discussed one point. What is that? What is the purpose of my life? Now let us ask a different question. Same purpose only, but let us ask a different question. Is there a purpose? Is there a purpose which is universal? So far, what did we discuss? We discussed what is the individual purpose, okay? And to summarize, what is the individual purpose? Live your life to find it out, okay? How can you find it out? There can be an inkling, an exercise we saw, which you have to do. I cannot say what is it. It is your exercise, you have to do. But what is the final purpose? You have come with a certain capacity, come with a certain knowledge, come with a certain ability to unfold. All these things should come to the fullest potential. Then your purpose, your personal purpose is solved. Now we come to an important question. Is there something which is a universal purpose for all of us, gaining which? Remember, whenever we say purpose, whenever we say meaning, discovering the purpose, meaning, what we mean is that after gaining which, there is a sense of, yes, I have lived my life to its fullest potential. That's called purpose. You complete a purpose, then you feel done, fulfilled. That is a sense. Now I'm asking the question, is there something like that which is universal? A universal purpose? Gaining which not just you, not just me, not just he, not just she, all of us will feel that we have fulfilled the purpose of life. Not my life alone, all of us. All right. So let us investigate into that. Are you all with me? Let us investigate. Let me just start with an anecdote which has a bearing on this discussion. Swami Vivekananda ji, well-known figure, all of us know, he was traveling from India to US by the ship to attend the Parliament of Religions. So as he was going, as he was traveling, there was a young boy who saw Swamiji. Young boy means be 18, 19, 20, around that age. So he saw Swamiji and he was very inquisitive. So he took the courage, took the heart to go to meet Swamiji and say, offered pranams and say, Swamiji, where are you going? And Swamiji said, I'm going to US Parliament. Where are you going? Swamiji asked the boy. He said, I'm going to study. Then this boy asked a question to Swamiji. He said, Swamiji, what is the purpose of life? And Swami Vivekananda said, let's think about that purpose of life and all the big things. Let's think about it later. First, you tell me, what is the purpose of you going to go to US? Oh, Swamiji, I'm going to study. Oh, very good, very good. And after your studies, then what? He said, get a good job, Swamiji. That's the purpose of my studies. And after you study, what then? A job, then what then? That you're going to get married? Oh, good, good, good. Have a good family. Yeah, yes, Swamiji. And then what? Swamiji? Oh, suddenly start thinking, Swamiji is asking, then what, then what? Yes, Swamiji, family, then, it will be very, very, wonderful life. And then, Swamiji, I'll be happy. And Swamiji said, so you're doing all these things for happiness? Yes, Swamiji, yes, all these things for happiness. Now, let's ask ourselves, what are we doing and why are we doing? We are doing so many things. What are we doing it for? The only one reason we are doing anything and everything is for happiness. But the beauty of our search or the fallacy of our search is that whether it is your search or anybody's search or the search of all the people who have come before or who are going to come, we are searching for happiness. And the fallacy is that the happiness we find, because it is a happiness which is coming, which we are creating by a certain doing or a certain gain, what we get will also end. What we get, because what we gain, it's at a point of time. So what you gain will also end. And again, what happens? That gets over. That gets, we search for further. Again, we go for more. Then again, we find that also ends. So our search for happiness is ceaseless. Life is finally all that we do in our life is for happiness. That's a purpose kind. But you see, whether are we fulfilling our purpose? And therefore, we need to ask this question. So many people for so long, whom you also taken together in that so many people striving for happiness, have we gained that happiness? Is something wrong? Nobody seems to be happy. Everybody says, something more is required. Is something inherently wrong in what we are doing? This question was taken up for discussion long ago in the Upanishadic times. And then you have a very interesting discussion between husband and wife. Sage Yajnavalkya is the revered sage, and his wife Maitri. So Yajnavalkya, the story goes that he wanted to renounce everything and go. And before he wanted to, before he finishes that renunciation, before he takes up the renunciation, he wanted to distribute his property among his two wives so that there is no conflict. He wanted to do that very, very properly. So he called his wives and he said that this is what I'm going to do. The younger wife, Katyayani, she accepted. Fine, that is okay. Please, you do as you want. But the elder wife, Maitreyi, her name is, she asked this very important question. You are giving up all these things for a certain fulfillment, right? That's what you said. Means what? There is something you find which is available. Meaning what you give up, I should take. What you give up, I should take. Whereas what you want, I can't have. Meaning you are going to give this up and that I have to take. But what you want, fulfillment and happiness and that completeness, You can't give me, you don't want to give me? Yajnavalkya said, oh my dear Maitreyi, you asked for something very, very beautiful. And then he explains. Please note, very important discussion. He says, the wife is not dear for the husband for the sake of the wife is dear to the husband for his own sake. The husband is not dear to the wife for the sake of the husband is dear to the wife for her own sake. So no object is dear to us for the object's sake. The object is dear to us for our sake. In other words, what Yajnavalkya pointed out was, the object is dear to us primarily because we are dear to ourselves. Meaning, I'll say again, the object is dear to us primarily because we are dear to us. Meaning, the world of objects, me the subject, my attention is always on the object, never on the subject. Have I ever inquired, who am I anytime? This object, that object, gaining this knowledge, gaining that knowledge. But have I ever thought about knowing who I am? And then Yajnavalkya says, my dear Maitreyi, this is a very wonderful thing you asked. And look, none of us are paying attention to our own self. Whereas all that we love is for ourselves, meaning we love ourselves so much. And if we love ourselves so much, have we ever asked the question, who am I? And then he says, Atma va are drashtavyaha. Oh dear Maitreyi, realize your real nature. For true happiness belongs not in the realm of objects. Why? Because all objects we are loving only for ourselves. So the self is most dear. And if we can find out the true nature of ourself, my dear friends, the quest for meaning, the quest for purpose, the quest for happiness, the quest for fulfillment, all of them ends in the discovery of the self. Now, this is a profound statement, and this is something which we need to inquire, but that is not the topic only of today's session in a larger way, in a broader sense, but that is something, this path to self-discovery is something which is going to lead us to the ultimate purpose, the true meaning, the final fulfillment, not just of you, but this is a universal quest, the quest for happiness. Undeniable. Nobody can deny, no, I don't have any quest for happiness, I'm happy being sorrowful. Even when you say I'm happy being sorrowful, what are you saying? You are saying, I am happy being sorrowful. Happiness is what we see. And this quest for happiness is not something which can be fulfilled by limited acquisitions, by limited accomplishments, but that is possible only by gaining what is already present. I had mentioned that you gain something, then you will find, because you have gained, you will lose it. Because why? Gain is happening in time. And when you gain something in time, what you get will also end. What you gain will also perish. Because that is the nature of all acquirements happening in time. But when you gain something which is not gained, but which is ever there, It is a very different realm altogether, because it is not gaining. Suppose, let us say, for example, this mala, and somehow, it goes this side. I don't see it is there. Now, this mala of mine is not something which I have to gain. It is ever there. I only did not see. Now, when I see, I understand. It is ever there. It was ever there. It is there. In the same way, the self, that our self, the pure nature, our self, not the body I'm talking, not the mind I'm talking, but the inner core of ourself, that is ever there. The Upanishads declare the search and the quest ends in finding our nature. That is a subject of Vedanta. My dear friends, I welcome you to this great knowledge of Vedanta. Discover yourself and see the true fulfillment, see the true meaning, and see the purpose of life. So in this session, we have seen two things. That purpose which is limited to an individual, which is gained by expressing the fullest potential of ourselves in the realm of knowledge, in the realm of action, and in the realm of self-unfoldment, personal. And the universal quest for meaning and purpose attained by realizing our own nature, the pure self. Thank you very much. I request, if any questions are there, queries are there, we can take up for the next 15 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Swamiji. Your address has been thoroughly inspiring, thoroughly thought-provoking. And I think what you've said, I hope it reaches as many people as possible. Thank you very much. A few questions come to mind. First, Swamiji, you just mentioned that the ultimate purpose of life for everybody is to discover oneself, because that's where permanent, everlasting happiness can be found. How can one begin taking the first steps towards this?
The first step towards coming to that total fulfillment is first to know that such a knowledge exists. Many times we are caught in the world of objects alone, and very rarely we have even an inkling that there is something called as knowledge of the self. So first, when you gain this, yes, there is something, there's a wisdom which is very different from the various knowledges that I have acquired so far. Then you start thinking how I may gain it. So you are lighting that's a small spark is lit, and that will do its job. That will do its job by itself, because that spark, if you catch hold of that spark, suppose you're listening to this and you thought, yes, there's something this person is saying, and you think about it, and then you ignore it, and then go about your usual mundane life. Then you have put an end to that spark which was lit. So the first thing, the most important thing, is to keep this spark alive. And that will do its job. What it will do, I don't know. How it will lead you, I don't know. But that spark which is lit in you, that will take you forward in directions, open vistas which you do not know. And remember, this cosmos is a very interesting place. What you seek sincerely comes searching for you. What you seek very passively ignores you. What you seek sincerely comes behind you. And such is the understanding and the experience of all those people who walk this path. So to answer your question, what should I do? First step, think more about it. and keep the spark alive for it to function, and it will do the rest for you. This is the whole knowledge. And therefore, what you want, especially knowledge, when you seek, the cosmos responds by providing you opportunities to learn and to gain. Have I answered, John?
Yes. Yes, Swamiji. I'll just follow on from that. The ultimate purpose of life, discovery of the self. But Swamiji, the majority of people, of course, don't look at it that way. It's a spiritual way. They may not look at it that way. What would be your advice to them?
If somebody does not look at it this way, is that
Yes.
a question?
Yes. The discovery of the self, it's obviously a spiritual exercise. Majority of people in the world outside may not be looking at it that way for whatever factors. What would be your advice to them?
So I would just say one thing: live your life with maturity, with awareness, and go ahead. And as you move forward, a time will come when your own mind will ask for deeper questions. And when those questions become loud for you, then you cannot rest quietly. A Buddha could not remain quiet. A Swami Chinmayananda could not remain quiet. Any great person who has accomplished this self-knowledge could not remain quiet when those questions arose. So if those questions are not very strong for you, it's not something you need to worry about it. But you know that there is something, but you live your personal life wisely. Live your life in goodness and nobility and smartly, and keep seeing the perishability of all your accomplishments. Keep seeing that it looks very nice from outside, but as you go deeper and you look into it, you feel it doesn't lack any inner vitality, inner strength. Become reflective of your life and your accomplishments and your gains and your experiences. And that very reflection will slowly give you ability where your mind becomes capable to voice these questions for you. And when your mind voices those questions for you, and when your intellect is not able to respond, then you have lit that spark. Then that spark will start its functioning.
Swamiji, would you also say that for those people who are not in that mind frame where they go for the ultimate purpose of life, then of course, the other thing, the alternative, like what Swamiji said earlier, is to find the purpose of one's own life. And that itself, by fulfilling, may hopefully lead someone to the ultimate purpose in life. Is that how it should work, Swamiji?
Very true. Live a life of goodness and nobility, and live the life what you feel is the purpose of your life, what we discussed in the first step. That's not the individual. So leave that to fulfillment, and that will light for you. A good, capable, and a thinking mind finally comes from living that good life, what we just mentioned, by discovering the purpose of one's life. And that will take you naturally in this direction. Finally, this is also an unfoldment which comes from a life of personal unfoldment.
Swamiji, one question. How can we raise children to recognize their purpose early on?
Give them exposure to this knowledge. Give them ways by which this knowledge comes through in their life. See, children have got their intellects which are growing. And they ask such questions which are very, very important. Sometimes they ask such questions, we think that, where are these questions coming from? So when their questions are there and you are not able to answer that, do not shut their mouths, but rather tell them I will find out the answer for you. I will help you explore that. And when questions such as these are there, the answers are found in spiritual science. Just as how questions of physics are answered by the physics works, textbooks, works which deal with physics, chemistry with those works which deal with that, biology. In the same way, these deeper questions of life, I would say deeper or basic questions of life. What's the purpose? Why am I searching for happiness? Why is it I don't become happy even after gaining what I want, I thought to be? So when these questions come, right? And when children ask questions of such nature which are deep, these children have got that certain spark in them. Parents should not ensure that these sparks die. They should in fact keep it lit by making available such knowledge works, spiritual knowledge books for them. And spiritual knowledge is available. There is the spiritual knowledge in every tradition. And if you make that spiritual knowledge available to the children, that will be a great, wonderful service parents would have done in the quest where their children are going to take.
One final question, Swamiji. How did you discover your purpose in life?
It happened to me without me asking for or wanting it or knowing. It just happened when my parents, they took me to Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananji. Gurudev Swami Chinmayananji was conducting a camp on spiritual wisdom. He was taking a text by name Viveka Chudamani in Siddhabari. I was a very young boy, probably 15 years, I think 15 or 16. So when I had gone there and Swamiji was explaining this text Viveka Chudamani, which deals with this kind of knowledge. And as I was listening, my parents had taken all of us, our whole family had gone. So as I was listening to them, then I found out that these are all answering questions what I had always. What is the purpose of life? Why this? What is the world? So when these kind of questions, it was Vedanta which Swamiji was explaining. So when I was hearing to all these things, this knowledge, then I really found out what is the purpose which I have been always searching for. Swamiji's explanation of Vedanta gave me that understanding of what is the purpose, and I'm very, very grateful to Pujya Gurudev for that. My parents enabled it. So when you ask the question, what should parents do? So if parents give an opportunity to children for spiritual wisdom, what else can parents, right? What else need the parents do? Of course, parents are giving ability for them to have this knowledge of things which are required in their worldly life, but there is something also required in the deeper spiritual life which parents can provide.
Thank you very much, Swamiji, for your wonderful address, for a wonderful Q&A session. Really grateful that you spent so much time on this platform doing this. Thank you very, very much, Swami Advayananda ji, who's in charge of Chinmaya International Foundation, the research wing of Chinmaya Mission. Hari Om, and thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much to the Positivity Project for providing this platform as well. And thank you to everybody watching as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you all. Bye-bye.